Good evening, RD here. Boy, do I have something really cool to show you guys today. This is a Halloween Flying Skull. It doesn't really say a manufacturer on the box, but one of my friends, Heath, pointed out that this is pretty much a WL Toys. At least that's who the parts are. I don't know if they actually manufacture this, under this name or not. But this is like the quadcopter itself for this Flying Skull is I think it was the WL Toys V262. Don't hold me to it, but I think that's it. It looked just like this. But man, is this thing cool. And it's perfect for Halloween. So I kind of rushed this review. So I have to apologize a little bit ahead of time. The flight review, even though it's going to be day and night, is short because of the poor conditions. But I just really felt it needed to get out there so if a person has a chance to, if you want to order this thing, and you ordered expedited shipping, you probably could still get it by Halloween. So I just want to get out so people can see if they, if you think this is something you're interested or not, because we only got about like 10 days or so until Halloween. But anyway, this thing is just amazingly cool. I mean, you've probably seen some videos on YouTube and stuff of people making homemade, flying skulls or ghosts like this with their drones, or hanging one below a drone. But I just love it. This is all built into one, so you don't have to try to make your own makeshift flying like skeleton or skull or ghost, whatever you want to call the different ones. This is actually a flying skull or skeleton. It's got these nice big props, these tarantula, I think, style motors, so it's got plenty of power. The skull lights up green. It looks red now because it's kind of like a red, like a blood red. And of course, it's got these hands. The skeleton hands that are sewn to the fabric. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to be able to get this entire skeleton and skull into the video because of the distance I am from the camera. But it doesn't have any legs or anything, but it has this torn material, and it just looks so cool when you fly it, even in the daytime. On the bottom here, on the front, it's got, let's see, the front arms, it's got these little LEDs behind the motors, but they're actually really bright. They're blue on the front, and then on the back here, it's got some little red LEDs that shine red here on these little ones, but they're really bright even though they're small in size. But when you combine that at night with the blue in the front and the red in the back, and then this skeleton head glowing green, it just looks so cool. I mean, I'm flying it at night and it's lighting up the concrete blue below and the skeleton green, and it's just the color contrast, and you can make out some of the red from the material. It just looks awesome. It's one of the coolest things I had a chance to review, and one of the coolest things that I think would be great for the holidays to be able, you can fly all through the holidays, really. I mean, a lot of haunted houses are open all the way till Christmas, but I mean, just for Halloween itself, this is just great. But I think it's something year-round you're gonna have fun with. This is not just something you want for Halloween, because I think the neighborhood kids and stuff would just think it's so cool to fly something like this around. It's powered by a 2S Lipo, so it's got plenty of power from that. It's an 850 milliamp, but it's not like easily removable. You can't just reach in and pull it out. I think there's a few screws you have to take out of the on the battery bay to actually remove the battery. I don't know if I can get it into the camera here or not. Let's see if I can. It's hard to move all this fabric, but if you can see up in here, you can see and there it is. And it's a 7.4 volt, 850 milliamp 2S Lipo. But there's a few screws you could take out. Looks like there's 4. You could get this out, and it actually does have a balance plug, and then it has a kind of bizarre. Let me move it over here. I'm a little out of it. Sorry. There's a balance plug, and then you've got your kind of unusual plug. I've seen this before, but it's not real standard on quadcopters and drones and stuff. But so you have to use the supplied charger if you want to use this weird plug to charge it. Let me show you the supplied charger for it. It's easy to kind of get the stuff wrapped up because there's these metal, kind of like flimsy metal, but like supports on each side. It helps hold the arms up, and it works quite well. This little metal, bendy type metal helps hold that up, but it can kind of get wrapped up. So you get this charger, and actually it charges off the balance port. I was thinking it charged off the black, the weird connectors, but it charges off the balance port. But this charger is not the greatest. The first time I charged it, I went back and the light was still on. It hadn't been that long, but sometimes these batteries from the factory come, with too much charge in them. But it was like 8.5 volts, so that's overcharged, and the light was still on. Other people have had no problems. Some other people, you're going a little long, so you just want to kind of monitor that voltage and make sure with just a multimeter or whatever that you're getting a good, it's charged, and if it is, unplug it. But I was able to use another charger I had that charges off the balance port also, so that's another option. It's got a Phillips screwdriver it comes with, and it comes with 2 extra gears, which I think is really cool. I just think that's nice because there's a lot of torque with these props, and those, this thing's pretty heavy. So you could strip a gear, so it's nice they include 2 extra gears. That's the first time I've seen a quadcopter with extra gears. And they give you a full set of extra props too, which is always nice to get a full set. Like I said, it takes about 2 hours to charge on that wall charger. So if you got something that charges off the balance port, because you're not going to likely find that unusual plug, then you might better charge it on quicker than that. You get in about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how much you land and stuff, because I've not been able to get a good full flight, not because I've had any problems, it's just been the weather. So I'm going by what I've seen from other people I've talked to. So I've not got a full flight in, but that's what they've been telling me they've been getting with these. It's about 6 to 8 minutes. I don't know how long the low voltage alarm is on it. So like I said, this is not a thorough of a review as I typically do, but I just think it really needs to get done now because there's just so little time left before Halloween. Let's see, let's go over the controller. You can see it also looks a lot like a WL Toys. You just turn it on and it will auto bind. You don't have to you hear that beep and then it binds. So you just make sure the quadcopter is on and then turn it on and it binds. And you don't have to do the up-down binding procedure. The trim functions work for the pitch roll and for the yaw, but this you can hear it actually beeping on it pushing. The number of beeps here on the throttle trim adjusts your rates. And the weird thing is if you go up, it'll hit 3 beeps and then stop, and then you want to come back down, you have to go down to drop the rates. So you can't just hit it any way to go up or down. Once you have to go up, down to go down. The buttons here on the bottom right, these face buttons, the top one here, look at my notes, is for entering in the headless mode, and then the one down from it would do a 1 key return, which especially with something like this, and it seems pretty pointless. So the headless mode might come in a little handier with something like this, especially if you're just a beginner. So maybe not so much a headless mode, but the 1 key return seems kind of silly. You're not going to fly this thing very far away from you, I don't think. It's more of a flying at night close by to kind of show off and let people see how cool it looks. Let's see, these buttons here are just fake. They're just glued in place. They don't do anything. To calibrate the gyros, you're going to take the sticks down to the right, which I have done a few times. I think it's always good to calibrate the gyros because this thing, the fabric, if you get a gust of wind, can get caught up in the props and it will come down and crash. But this is so well built, I have not had any problems with anything getting damaged. But when that happens, it's a good idea to calibrate your gyros. The top left button here actually makes the lights on arms and the head go from solid to a blinking pattern of maybe 5 or so blinks, and it comes back to solid. So if you're flying around some people and then you all of a sudden want to make it flash, you hit that button and it'll flash about 5 times or so and then come back solid. So that's kind of neat. The top right button does nothing. I'd imagine that would be for 3D flips, which would be ridiculous. This couldn't do it. Everything would get caught up in the props and it would immediately crash. So it does not do 3D flips, thankfully so. Let's see if there's anything else that I did not cover on the transmitter. I think that's everything on the transmitter. These arms on this thing, you know, seem to me, I've not taken a magnet, but they sound like they're metal. So it is just really, really strong. This thing's really well built. I'm surprised at how well built it is. So like I said, it flies great, and it, you know, it flies great considering what it's carrying, I should say. And if you get it out in the wind, which I had to deal with some wind and some rain coming, you know, up on me while I was flying it, it does kind of tend to be more like a kite or a parachute, so it has trouble. But if you're on the highest rate, it still is able to move into the wind. And I was flying into at least a 15-mile-per-hour wind, so you know, it does okay. But it's really best made for, you know, a calm evening to fly around and not have to deal with the wind, because you're not going to worry about the cloth getting thrown up in the props and then having it come tumbling down to the ground. So let me briefly look over my notes here again to make sure that I covered everything. I think so. I think we got it all. So let's go ahead and we'll go on to the flight reviews, which are relatively short, but I got a day and a night, so at least give you an idea of what it looks like when it's flying. Just wish I could have had better conditions. So let's move along to the flight review. Let's take the Halloween Flying Skull up for like part 1 flight review here in the daytime. I got the controller already bound to it because I don't want to try to hold it up and plug it in while we're filming this. It's kind of bulky and hard to plug in, and I don't know if it messed the gyros up. You know, I went ahead and calibrated it. It shouldn't, but you never know. It has really kicked up the wind here since the cold front moved through last night, so I don't know how well this is going to do. I just took it for a really short little spin here and it was okay, but this is going to be a very brief test flight just so we can see what it looks like during the day. Then I'm going to do another one at night, and hopefully the wind will die down enough that I can fly a little longer here at night. And you can see the wind is really kicking up, so I'm going to wait here for a moment until I get a break in the wind. This is going to be a very, very short test flight, like I said, not long at all, but just enough so you can see how it flies, because at nighttime I don't know how well the entire outfit's going to show up, though it looked pretty cool when I was flying it just in my house. But the head lights up green, the skull, and you know, there's lights on the arms, and it's just really, really awesome. One of the coolest things I've had. So let's go ahead, a little break here. Let's go ahead and take it up. I got it on. You hear the different rates, and that's all the way up. Up takes your rates up, down brings them back down on the throttle trim. So you keep pressing up, it's just going to stay at the 3 beeps. And with this wind, you definitely want the highest rate. So let's go ahead and take it up. See, sometimes, and that's other people I've talked to, the material can get blown up into the props, and especially with this wind, you can see it happen there, but it recovered. I'm gonna turn around so it's facing me. I'm being extra careful here because it cannot fight the wind very well. But it is cool looking, isn't it? There it's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and land it. So I do not want to destroy this thing. If you can't hear me very well, it's the wind blowing through the microphone now, though the wind has kind of let up. So with it lit up here, you might be able to, there's a green light in there. It really shines up nicely during the night, but you don't see it here during the day very well. But it still looks really cool. This is a cool thing for Halloween, even if you want to fly it during the day. Obviously, weather permitting. This is not the most ideal conditions at all to fly this quadcopter in particular, but really any of them that is on brushed motors. But that material gets caught up at the time. Let's see if I can. I'll try to bring it back here. Yeah, it's having a heck of a time. It looks cool though. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for that because it's just too windy to fly this thing in the daytime. I'm gonna try to turn around and bring it back toward me so you can see the skull. It is really getting blown. Still looks cool though. Let it come back this way and go ahead and try to land it without too much of an incident. Alright, well, like I said, not the best flight review, I apologize, but this needs to get out so you guys can see this for Halloween if you want to order it. Because if you're going to order this thing now, you definitely want to use expedited shipping. Gearbest offers DHL expedited, which gets here in 3 days to the United States. I imagine it's pretty similar worldwide, so you definitely would need to pay for that expedited shipping to get it, to have a chance to get it for Halloween. I can't guarantee how long it takes in the process to order. Usually it takes about 3 days to process and then 3 days for it to ship. So that's the daytime flight review. Hopefully we'll have a better one here at night. But just a cool looking thing, isn't it? Alright, well, we'll be back here in a moment with the nighttime flight review. Okay, let's take the Flying Skull up for a little nighttime flying now. Hopefully this will go better than the daytime flying. It's so windy. It is still windy. Take it out here, you can see it blowing the fabric around. So it's not gonna be the most ideal conditions, but I want to give you an idea of what it looks like at night. You can already see how cool it looks here just on the edge of my garage. But we'll go ahead and take it up. Now sometimes this material can get caught up in the props when it's windy out. So if it comes down on me, it's not any kind of a fault with the quadcopter's motors or anything. It's just the fabric getting blown up. So if you fly this on a calm night, you're not going to have any problems with that. It's just the wind blowing it up, and it gets caught up in the props, and it just comes down. And I had it happen to me twice so far, and it's not caused any damage at all, as you can see. So it's actually pretty durable. These arms are like metal, so it's a strong little quadcopter. Alright, well, let's go ahead and take it up. Alrighty, I'll make sure we're on the highest rate. Alright, 3 beeps. So you want to be in the highest rate, especially whenever you're flying with any kind of wind. Let's go ahead and take it up. That is cool. That looks really neat. I think the neighborhood kids are going to really like this on Halloween. Now it is a bit noisy, so it might be a little hard to talk over this. But that's just because it's got a 2S Lipo, and it's powering those tarantula style motors. So it is strong, but it's noisy, those brush motors. I'm not going to fly this very long, not because of the wind. It's starting to sprinkle now, and I don't know what the water will do to it. That's full pitch into this north wind. Looks pretty cool, but it is. I'm going to go ahead and land it there because I don't want to crash into anything. Well, I think that gives us a pretty good idea. I apologize for the short flight. Let me just take it up for maybe another few seconds, but it is starting to rain. I do not want to get this thing all soaked. Let me just take it up for one more short flight. I hate to make the review so short. A little water shouldn't hurt it. But I say it's fighting the wind. It actually does better than what you'd think, considering how hard that wind's blowing. That fabric kind of acts like a kite or like a parachute. So, but the wind is not, it's not as bad as it was earlier. But I'm more worried about that rain starting to fall now. So, anyway, I think I at least gave us an idea. It seems to have pretty good range from what other people I've talked to has got them. I think you should be able to fly it out, 100 feet or so at least, probably several hundred feet actually, with no problem. It'd probably go farther than that, but I don't know. I mean, as big as it is, the orientation lights on the bottom are fairly bright, so I don't know how far you could actually push it, but it's really made to be flown close by and kind of, spook the neighborhood kids or something. So that's what I plan to do on Halloween. I think this is just a really cool gimmick. I think the kids will love it on Halloween. So anyway, that concludes the flight reviews of the Flying Skull.